Hello, everybody, and welcome back to night 3. This wasn't even supposed to be. This was just supposed to be one night or 2 nights originally, but night 3 is our Star Wars week for the Political Pigpen episode 21.75. May the 5th Awakens, of course. Happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody. What's everyone drinking tonight?
Nothing.
IPA.
Nothing at the moment.
Either way, welcome everybody. Tonight we are rejoined by Darth Kilfoon, and we are also joined by, for the first time in like 7 months, the Right Cafe.
Yep.
Yeah, I think what was the last one you were on? The Boogaloo one? The Boogaloo stream?
That's what it was about,
yeah. Anyway, and then Allie, I forget, have you been on here before? I feel like you've been on one of my streams, but I don't know if you've been on a Pigpen before.
Yeah, I've been on 2 of them, I think. 2 or 3.
Which ones? Or no, were you on the Hawk Wars stream? I don't think it was it wasn't a Pigpen, but it was the one commentating on the drama between Castly and MMI.
Yeah, that was the one I was on.
Yeah. Either way, thank you everybody for coming on. Great to have all of you. Tonight we're going to be continuing our discussion. We're going to start out by continuing our discussion on the various characters of just in the regular series, and then in the EU as well. And sort of what political ideology, what archetypical sort of political stance do they fundamentally represent? And then we can get in and talk about some of the lore stuff and sort of how they involve themselves in. And then we might be able to talk a little bit more about factions too, at least with regards to political parties within like the Galactic Republic and that sort of thing. We covered pretty much all of the ground just for you guys who either didn't listen in last night or for both Ali and the Right Cafe if you guys didn't listen previously. But we pretty much covered all the major Star Wars factions from both canon and the Legends and sort of their political underpinnings, so to speak. So we've covered that, but I mean, if you guys do want to pipe in at any time with regards to something relating to that, feel free. Yeah. By the way, we're going to continue our discussion about characters. Who are we going to move on to? Are we going to move on to talk about how Obi-Wan is in the blue quadrant, Kilhoon, or did we talk about that? Kilhoon?
You kind of went robot for me there a minute.
Oh no, I said, weren't we going to go on and talk about how Obi-Wan Kenobi is basically in the blue quadrant?
Oh, yeah, we were doing Obi-Wan. Yeah, that was one of our last ones. Yeah, I would say he's just the pretty milquetoast conservative Jedi, I would say, but like blue quadrant, but not too far in there. Just kind of center.
Yeah, have we done any
center blue?
Authentic politicians in the Galactic Republic as of yet?
We haven't really. We can't really hear you very well though, Cafe. Your mic, something's up with your mic. But yeah, no, we haven't. I mean, we haven't covered Palpatine yet. We were actually pretty much planning on saving him for this stream specifically.
Oh, okay. I can hear me now.
Yeah, we can hear you better.
Well, I was thinking about there's this really shitty politician in the old Star Wars expanding universe. You may have heard of him called Borsk Falawa. Have you heard of him?
Valorum?
No, Borsk Falawa. He's basically the Bothan who becomes the head of state of the New Republic and is a complete idiot who basically lets half of the New Republic get conquered by the Yuuzhan Vong, if we haven't covered them. And he basically constantly leaks information to like outside sources, including the Empire. He's sort of just your stereotypical like horrible politician. The only saving grace about him is that he blows himself up along with the entire Senate when the Yuuzhan Vong are about to take Coruscant.
That would be like if Donald Trump ended up being like, no, Biden's not going to be able to come in here. We're going to blow up the White House. It's going to be tremendous. It's going to be amazing. Just blew up the White House with everybody in there.
Or I guess we can mean Palpatine.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Let's move on to Palpatine. Hold on. First of all, what's everyone's thoughts on his being named Sheev in the new EU?
I always thought that the name Sheev was kind of weird.
He was named Sheev in the old EU. The Darth Plagueis novel, he was Sheev Palpatine. So that was technically in the old EU, although like the last few years of that.
Oh, okay. I was not aware of that.
And the Darth Plagueis novel, Palpatine starts out as sort of like he basically hates his father for using him as too much of a conservative.
Mm-hmm.
His father's kind of an isolationist who doesn't want sort of intergalactic commerce to go set foot on the. And he's also not that ambitious, and Palpatine sort of hates that, and that's why he basically joins Plagueis and ends up killing his father.
In the Darth Plagueis novel, I know he pretty much ends up staging his whole like an accident for his entire family, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Like on a spaceship.
Yes, he does, and I have no idea how he hides the body. They kind of do a bit of a time sketch.
Yeah. By the way, so I feel like Palpatine, at least like his political faction, sort of almost represents sort of like these kind of Keynesian Democrat centristy types who want to concentrate power into the hands of like core world corporations, and also they want to raise taxes. Because I know this is canon. They want to raise taxes on all the planets, but they know the wealthy core worlds are going to be able to handle that. But then you have the poorer outer rim worlds, which won't be able to handle that, and that was part of the reason, like tariffs and stuff. That was part of the reason that led to the separatist crisis, I believe. I could be wrong, but from what I remember, that's what it was.
Well, one of the reasons, well, actually, how the people in Naboo were able to beat the Trade Federation?
Yeah.
That's actually one of the reasons why the separatist crisis happened. Basically, a ton of systems believed that if just Naboo wasn't a backwater, but it wasn't exactly a prominent planet either. It was just in the mid-rim. It was kind of remote. And if it was able to beat the Trade Federation, then surely an alliance of outer rim planets would be the Republic. That's actually, they actually cited the Naboo crisis as a sort of example as to how if the Rim basically broke away from the Republic, they could fight them off successfully.
Okay. Yeah, what would you have to say, Ali? What's your take on Palpatine?
So, I mean, it kind of depends. Are you talking about how Palpatine presented himself early on, or like how he actually was?
Well, we'll talk about early Palpatine, both.
All right, so early Palpatine was kind of like, as you said, yeah, he was more of like the centrist, unifying type of guy who just, I mean, his rhetoric. I remember, like, I read this book. I think it was the Darth Plagueis book. Right before Palpatine becomes Chancellor, I think that he basically talks to Plagueis about politics, and basically he says how he wants to put on a mask of being a kind of a uniting figure. So yeah, I agree with you on that. And the policies that he promoted did kind of lead to the separatist crisis. It led to a lot of regionalism, especially in the outer rim and the western reaches, and from the corporate sector as well.
Okay. When you think about it, and this is kind of a joke that I think we made it 2 nights ago, the relationship between Plagueis and Palpatine is like the exaggerated, or basically what what a lot of conservatives think the relationship is between George Soros and the Democratic Party. Because if you think about it, Hugo Damask was basically the George Soros of the Star Wars galaxy.
I mean, he really was. He was an investment banker, and he was also a groomer. Like, people think that Palpatine groomed Anakin. Like, reading the Darth Plagueis novel, Hugo Damask was probably the biggest groomer, not like in a sexual way, but like, he's definitely the George Soros of the Star Wars universe. Although I don't think he owns the banking plan. I think he's just a high-ranking person in it. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So he would sort of be like George Soros' secretary.
And then what's also interesting is like the Darth Plagueis novel established that Palpatine wasn't actually the master yet throughout most of Episode 1, which I found interesting.
Yeah, he really did kind of break the whole rule of 2.
I mean, Plagueis himself also wanted to get rid of it. He said to Tenebris after he crushed him with a stalactite, "I will get rid of the rule of 2 and rule the galaxy alongside my apprentice."
Wasn't that basically what Palpatine's whole plan was?
Yeah,
I mean, in Legends, Palpatine's plan was to live forever and do as he called it. So I think this was in the Dark Empire novel.
Yeah.
He wanted to do the whole rule of 1 thing,
which Darth Krayt ended up doing, and Kilhoun talked quite a bit about Krayt the other night.
Yeah. What do you think? I wonder if what do you think Palpatine evolved quadrant-wise as he got older, and especially at Dark Empire, when basically he's sort of Palpatine in Dark Empire is basically like a theocrat. Like he's intentionally attempting to transform the Empire into a sort of secular militaristic government into a dark side theocracy.
Yeah, he was trying to
Yeah,
make it
that is
model it
true.
more after like the Sith Empire of old from the Old Republic. If you guys have ever played that game,
hmm
which I know Kilhoon and I have, but
I have not, although I've spoiled too much of it to really enjoy it.
but yeah.
So yeah, that is true. And you even see kind of themes of that in the Rise of Skywalker, which I don't really like, by the way.
I was not a fan. That most disappointing movie experience, I think.
Yeah, I think
wasn't
that
disappointed because
I think that the whole
expected
thing
that.
is that they basically tried to recycle the major plot points from Dark Empire.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Empire wasn't
and
even that good. Well, at least Dark Empire had Luke fighting Sidious.
I know.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I agree with the point that as Palpatine got older, he got like more overtly theocratic.
Yeah, I could see that because it's basically just like, okay, just gonna keep the mask off at this point. But then at that point, you also have the true believers in the Empire, because the thing is, Palpatine was never a true believer in the Empire. It was just a grift, more or less, for him to gain control.
I mean, yeah. So the Empire, like in Legends, the Empire was just kind of a means to an end. All because like his end goal was to basically make a Sith Empire 2.0.
Yeah, it was, and the Galactic Empire was the first step.
Yes, that's actually some of you may be unaware, but do any of you know who Dovahadi is?
What?
Gordon?
Are any of you aware of the YouTuber Dovahadi?
Of course, yeah. We know you're making a.
You're aware? Okay. Well, the thing is, my series is going to be not propaganda for Palpatine, but for the true believers, which is why I'm going to portray Palpatine as sort of a demon.
Okay, that's actually pretty cool.
Can you link your channel?
Yeah, sure. I'll give you a link.
Yeah, well, if I remember, I'll be sure to provide it in the show notes below. Just
I'm
remind me.
considering making Palpatine a spiteful reincarnation of Valkorion.
That's kind of cool. It's kind of a good idea.
It would explain
kind of like how Dovahadi in his he made it like he made like Cleopatra the reincarnation of Dido.
Yeah.
Either way, we should stay on topic. I think we could talk about this afterwards. But either way, so yeah, Palpatine. He sort of. But what about by the time he became Emperor, though? I mean, because like, how much power did Palpatine truly have over the Galactic Empire?
So, are you talking about like early Empire, like right after Episode 3?
Let's start there. Yeah, right after Episode 3, because I know he basically he manipulated Jar Jar into giving him
right
Moi full executive power.
So I know for sure that he has full control over the military and the banks, for sure. Okay, so the military, the banks, yeah.
That's why we put him in the red quadrant. We put the Empire in the red quadrant.
Yeah, I would put it in the red quadrant too.
I mean, you could also
and the
say that he was. You could say that he was kind of in towards Adolf Hitler's alignment, which was like near the line between blue and red, but it was on the blue side. Very close,
like a corporate,
very authoritarian,
like a corporate socialism.
I mean, I get that, but I put Palpatine in the left side because, like, the Empire nationalized basically every major industry, and they put like a ton of regulations on everything else, and so the entire galactic economy was basically centralized around the military-industrial complex.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. I mean, I also I was reading in one of the older Republic books, and basically it said the same thing, that in the Sith Empire, most industry was nationalized, but even more than the Empire, basically all the economy was going towards the war effort. There was rationing and everything. So yeah, there's a tendency for Sith-led societies to be very collectivist economically and sort of in perpetual wartime economy, even if you're not at war.
Well, I think that Sith empires are kind of like always at some kind of war, to be honest.
I mean, the Galactic Empire, I know they spent a couple of years taking out separatist holdouts, but until the Rebel Alliance came along, there wasn't really like that much conflict. Even I mean, I know that's like a very short period of time. For instance, Vitiate's empire lasted for like 1,500 years.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but at least that empire survived for a lot longer.
Yeah.
They all go through these cycles anyway. Like they'll kind of rise and fall and then be reborn. Kind of like the entire history of the Old Republic is about constant rises and falls.
Speaking of rises and falls,
yeah, George Lucas describes that.
Oh, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
What were you saying, George Lucas? Allie, you were saying something.
I don't think I was.
Or somebody was saying something about George Lucas.
That was Calhoun.
Calhoun, you there? Huh. Must have cut out for a second. Either way, okay, so what about like by the late Empire, would you say?
So Palpatine, yeah, he basically had complete power by that point.
Palpatine had complete power, but by the late Empire, he wasn't really using it and delegated most of his authority
to the Moffs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was more like at that point, just studying all these obscure ancient holocrons, and at some point, he had to figure out the holocron that let you transfer your essence. I'm unsure. I don't think he had access. Looks like Calhoun's gone. I don't think he had access to
He's coming back.
His midichlorian manipulation. I mean, if he did, he would know how to preserve himself without needing to use essence. Because, so yeah, in the late Empire, he was basically, I mean, he did have absolute power, but he didn't really use it that often.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. He did delegate it to the Moffs because he kind of just became like really introverted at that point. And then he had, remember those creepy dudes that always surrounded him? It was like his inner council
advisors. Yeah.
Sage Pestage, I believe, was one of them, and he actually met Palpatine back when he was still an apprentice to Plagueis.
Okay.
Yeah, those guys were all like Sith cultists.
Well, yeah, Sage Pestage, even like 50 years before the Battle of the Yavin, knew that Palpatine was a Sith.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, and then remember those other guys that sort of surrounded him too? Like, who's that one? Who's that one lady?
Sly Moore.
Mara Jade?
Yeah, weren't they like lovers or something?
I mean, in Legends, Sly Moore was, yeah.
And then who was Palpatine's other girlfriend again? And then was it Lumia?
Well,
I mean, Palpatine had like a ton of concubines.
Yes. Well, Lumia wasn't his girlfriend. It was more just a Emperor's Hand or dark side agent. You could also
no, Dala. I'm thinking of Dala.
No, Dala.
Oh yeah.
Dala was actually Tarkin's.
That's right. Okay, that's right.
And it's said that she sort of slept with him.
No, she slept. Dala slept her way to the top.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sort of like Kamala Harris,
Literally.
Yeah, isn't that pretty much been proven? Like at this point,
yeah.
Like
I think it has.
You see, I kind of like Biden,
yeah,
but I do not. I do not like Kamala one bit.
At least Biden has the appearance of sort of your goofy uncle who doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, and then Trump was like basically your asshole uncle who like comes to Thanksgiving. Like honestly, if I were to compare Trump to any fictional character, it would be Rodney Dangerfield from Caddyshack.
Yeah,
anybody's seen that movie.
Yeah, it's a pretty good equivalent.
Did any of you go over Thrawn and his political alignment? Yeah.
I'm a really big fan of Thrawn.
Yeah, Calhoun and I established, along with who else was there? It was Ray and AristocraticOwl. We established that Thrawn is basically a 19th century style
he was a
British classical liberal.
I mean, even his accent is sort of British, but
yeah, he's basically very like utilitarian, practically minded.
Did we do the Fells?
The what?
The Fells.
We did not actually.
Yes, that's a really missed opportunity. You talked about crate, so I thought you might have talked about them. Obviously we can do that later because I still want to focus on Palpatine for a bit. Just if there's anything that we could still talk about related to him. Actually, we went over the early Empire. We went over him during the Republic. We went over him during the late Empire. The Dark Empire we sort of went over. I guess the only thing left is Palpatine when he's burning in hell. Because basically, in the Legends world, he basically gets sent to chaos, which is the dark side version of hell.
Okay.
And I guess he can't hold an ideology.
Yeah, dark side hell.
You can't hold an ideology when you're suffering for perpetual torment.
That's true.
But yeah, about the Fells, I don't know where I would put them.
I mean, it's basically like, honestly, the Fell Empire, if I had to pick like any parallel, it would be like the Federation from Starship Troopers.
Yes, it's definitely alt-right. That's definitely the case.
Alt-right? No, I wouldn't say that.
Alt-right. So for
I say that they are.
I'd say that they're just they're
I would say that
constitutional republic.
No, they were a constitutional monarchy.
Or but they do have a republic.
Because they still had.
Yeah,
well, they're still a monarchy because the Fell Empire was a heretical system.
A hereditary system?
Yeah, heretical.
Yeah, it was a hereditary system.
They got rid of most of these sort of
they were
aspects of the old empire, the genocide, slavery, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually, in my series, I'm actually making it so that every time a new Fel becomes emperor, he tries to purge some of the mock council, so he has people who won't betray him. Sort of like how the Senate during the early Roman Empire would occasionally get replaced.
Okay.
So if I had to pick, the Fell Empire is probably my favorite faction. Because I think the Fell Empire really is the best faction for the Star Wars galaxy, or something similar to that.
I would agree. That they basically combine the best of the Republic with the best of the Empire.
I actually
and while still being a base
monarchy. I sent you an image. One thing that I've actually been making a lot of how do I put this? A lot of war, because you know how in Star Wars after 45 ABY, there's nothing that really happens until Legacy. How there's a big gap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually just writing up a shit ton of material that talks about the gap, and I'm making maps and shit. I'm going to DM you some of them.
Yeah, you should do that. But let's get back on to. We can talk about that another time. I kind of want to stick to the topic right here, so we don't. Actually, yeah, we can talk afterwards about that. I'd like to do that, but
yeah.
In the meantime, so we talked about the Fell Empire.
Rohan Fel. Rohan Fel was probably a lot more conservative than his daughter. His daughter.
Wait. In Fel, that was Jaina Solo's husband, right?
Yeah, so that was Jaina Solo's husband. Their grandson is Rohan Fel. Then there's a Fel II that happened in between Jagged Fel and Rohan Fel. And Rohan Fel's daughter, Marasiah Fel, takes over after he dies. And she's a kind of a reformer. She kind of, for instance, the Imperial Knights, before they would swear sole loyalty to the Emperor, assuming he did not fall to the dark side. But then she basically sort of, because Rohan Fel kind of went mad at the end and sort of briefly fell to the dark side, not to the point where he had Sith eyes and anything, but he basically wanted to use a neurotoxin over a planet to get rid of the Sith. Or not a neurotoxin, a deadly virus. Then he got killed in a duel with, but after that...
so he wanted to virus bomb a planet.
Yeah, after that, she basically reformed it so that the Imperial Knights basically swore allegiance to the Force instead of the Emperor. Although it was sort of borderline, it wasn't that clear. Also, they sort of merged the New Republic, the Fell Empire, and the Jedi Order into sort of the Galactic Triumvirate, which is kind of interesting because, the Jedi Order now has its own seat in government.
I mean, they kind of did too back during the which one was it? No. Back when the Jedi used to be senators at one point, or they used to be Supreme Chancellors.
Oh yes, I know. During the New Sith Wars, virtually stir a crap ton of Jedi became Supreme Chancellors.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's a triumvirate makes it seem like the power structure is very centralized, sort of like the second triumvirate. That was a legal institution during the days where you had Lepidus, you had Augustus, and you had Mark Antony.
Yeah, I can see that. That's actually not a terrible analogy.
So the Jedi Order itself, I don't know if we went over this, but the new Jedi Order is sort of interesting because of the fact that even generations later, there's still a Skywalker in charge of it, more or less. So it's sort of become a hereditary. I mean, it's not like explicitly hereditary, but it's sort of become the Skywalker sort of organization for the taking.
Can we stop a minute to say to all agree that Rey is not a Skywalker?
Jedi Order pretty much was.
I agree with that.
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and say Rey doesn't exist. That's all I want to say.
No, I wouldn't go that. I mean, I just that series I think had promise, but Rey, you can't just come and say I'm a Skywalker. She should have just owned the fact that she's a Palpatine instead of coping and trying to convince herself she's a Skywalker.
Or they could have just not made her a Palpatine and made her like Obi-Wan's daughter.
Yeah, I was firmly on Rey Kenobi, Team Rey Kenobi.
Or imagine if she was,
or Jaina Solo.
They could have done that too.
Jaina Solo, she could have done that.
Well, Corky Kerr's Satine's nephew?
Nephew, yeah.
Haven't you noticed that he looks sort of like you were to get
Obi-Wan, yeah.
Yes, he looks like if you were to merge those two people using like an AI algorithm.
I think that they made Corky for the option of potentially making him Obi-Wan's son in the future.
Wait, who's that?
Satine's quote-unquote nephew.
From?
Who happens to be
Clone
the
Wars.
same age as the time in between
Quote-unquote.
and Clone Wars.
Like, the dude looks like a perfect combination of Obi-Wan and Satine.
That's interesting. I've never considered that. I don't remember. I need to re-binge the Clone Wars though.
Speaking of Satine, can we agree that she's probably like road left or something?
Oh,
She's
yeah.
really dumb. She has like some of the dumbest political views.
Yes, she deserved it. Unironically.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone, but she deserved it.
I don't know. I liked the chemistry between them. I thought it was kind of cute.
As characters, yes, they are cute together, but she is a dumbass.
Padme is also lived left,
Yeah.
but maybe to a lesser extent. I mean, she's not a
I think Star Wars politics is just very cringe in general, especially from the movies period.
I think the prequels actually had some of the best politics. Oh,
well, it depicted politics the best, but it had some of the worst politicians.
Yeah.
Yeah, the politicians in Star Wars dumber than the politicians right now. And that's saying something.
Okay, guys. So for a second, we're going to have some fun real quick. And we're going to watch and commentate on... Hold on. Where is it? There we go.
Oh, I've seen this one.
Yeah.
Let me just briefly the Sith plot line, because at the time we wrote articles about it because the media said we don't understand this. This makes no sense. The most popular of the three prequels. It made total sense. Emperor Palpatine was a little-known senator from Naboo, small planet. He finances terrorists to attack the planet. And then he plays victim and says that the pacifist republic isn't doing enough to help him with the terrorist invasion, the Trade Federation invasion, who even speak in Chinese accents. It's all geopolitical.
Well, he's speaking Japanese accents.
Yeah, little aliens with Chinese accents. He then goes and complains and catapults himself in the crisis into the role of chancellor. Because, he was the victim, but now he demanded something be done. He'd been a pacifist previously. Now he's chancellor. Episode 2 launches terror attacks all over the galaxy with groups he's secretly financing through his backers in the Trade Federation. He turns around, double crosses in the end. Lord Vader, kill Viceroy Gunray and everyone else in the... So basically, in the end, they knock out all of the people that backed him, which always happens. Nazi Germany, Soviet Russia, Maoist China, learn from history. Then, so he uses that to build up the power of the empire in episode 2. And now he's got this big Imperial army, but it's not Imperial yet. But it's the stormtroopers, the outfits, the weapon systems to counter this outside threat run by Count Dooku, the Osama bin Laden guy that actually works for him, and they meet in secret. Now, in episode 3, he launches an attack on the imperial capital himself. He launches an attack on New York. And then he gets captured, and then he sets up Count Dooku to get killed, and then he seduces to the dark side Anakin Skywalker to make him Darth Vader. And in the end, he then sets up, after he has the police state in place, he sets up the Jedi and says they're terrorists and has the anti-terror forces go in and wipe them out. And then he says he's launching a global intergalactic war to bring peace. Now, the media could not understand, wait, and they actually wrote articles, Emperor Palpatine's attacking himself, it makes no sense. Adults cannot understand children-level ideas, okay? Child-level ideas. Child-level. How can you not understand it?
That was actually probably the most brilliant thing I've ever heard that guy say.
Well, the chronology was pretty off, but yeah.
Yeah.
Alex
Jones has his moments.
He does have his moments. I mean, the guy's insane and not really worth taking seriously, but then when he's right, he's right.
I mean, he's been proven right. Like, let's see, vaccine passports.
Quite a few times, yeah.
But it would be funny if, like, Alex Jones did a segment where, like, he was pretending to be a conspiracy theorist in the Star Wars universe.
Yo, and then there was also, I think there was what did they do? The new Spider-Man movies. I haven't seen either of them, but there was an end credits clip where it was what's his name? J.K. Simmons.
Jameson.
J.K. Simmons reprised his role as J. Jonah Jameson, but he was a parody of Alex Jones.
Yes. Have we done the Yuuzhan Vong yet?
We have not discussed the Yuuzhan Vong.
Should we do it now?
Yeah, let's try.
They are eco-fascists.
Pretty much.
I mean, I've always compared the Yuuzhan Vong to the Mongolian Empire.
I'd say they're a mixture.
I mean, yeah, they are, but
they're a mixture of eco-fascists, Mongolians, and space Aztecs. And some guy who has a really bad obsession with BDSM and harming himself. Because, they literally, as part of their religion, they just kind of mutilate themselves to sort of gain enlightenment. And, let's see. Also, I'd argue some of it was taken from Islam. Like, for instance, the Yuuzhan Vong literally referred to their opponents as infidels in the books.
Well, they hate the Force, don't they? Isn't that their whole thing?
Yes,
they hate droids and mechanical stuff.
No, that's right. Okay.
They also hate the Force.
Because they don't have access to it, because all the war and suffering that they caused in their galaxy basically stripped them from it. It kind of like how the Exile got stripped of her connection due to the Malachor 5. Well, imagine a war so devastating that it strips an entire species of the Force, and that effect is hereditary.
True. Yeah, I can see that. That's interesting. I have not, and we were talking about this yesterday. I have not read that the whatever series it was with the Vong.
It
was just so intimidating.
It's 19 books, and that's why I actually found a very good website that basically it's. I'll DM it to you later. It's basically a Dropbox link that basically every single Xfinity Universe book. But you have to. Each book is like the New Jedi Order series is like 400 pages long, and there's 19 of them. So it is pretty intimidating. But I was able to get all of them for free, and I'll DM you Politicrat the link to it.
Okay. So yeah, Vong basically eco-fascists.
Yeah.
Eco-fascist,
Yeah.
Muslim, no, Islamic eco-fascists.
Ted Kaczynski would be perfect,
Yeah, Ted Kaczynski. It's not that's a good analogy, I'd say. Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys have like read the Thrawn books, the newer Thrawn books.
Oh yeah, I haven't read the one that came out a couple days ago, but I've read the other ones. Yeah.
But the thing is, I think that they're setting up the Star Wars universe like post Episode 9 to have a similar event to the Yuuzhan Vong War from.
Yep.
Like
no, that might save the franchise. That might be all that can happen to save the franchise at this point. Bring back.
Yeah, because in the Thrawn novels, Thrawn and Darth Vader and some other Imperials, they basically fight what are essentially scouting parties from an extra galactic species called. I mean, they call them the Grisks. I think they're just going to be like the new version of the Yuuzhan Vong.
Yes, that would. I've heard about them, but I've also heard that the Shish Ascendancy is basically like fighting them constantly in the frontier and shit.
That is true.
And then we also need to remember that the Vong had a reference in the first KOTOR game. Canderous.
Yeah. Like, isn't that Canderous Ordo talking about it?
Yeah, Canderous talked about how he ended up engaging the Vong, and then they sent out like a message. Apparently, that they weren't like before they destroyed the ship. It looked like it sent out a message, but he didn't know what the message was saying or anything. So it's very possible that Canderous accidentally triggered the invasion.
Oh no! Actually, believe it or not, there was actually a encounter before that. Exar Kun, that all those people.
Yeah. Well, we did talk about him actually. We haven't talked about him.
Oh shit! We missed him.
We didn't, or we did. Well, in the old comics, basically, there's like a Yuuzhan Vong coral skipper. This was before the Vong even were a thing. And they later retconned that this floating asteroid is a Yuuzhan Vong spaceship.
That sounds about right.
So the Vong, I think, have probably been on the outskirts of the galaxy since maybe the 100-Year Darkness. I think that's probably when they kind of ended up on the edge, and they basically just been prepping for a few thousand years, and
waiting for their kind of like they kind of always reminded me of like, I mean, of course, not in terms of their motive or their. Of course, they're not robots, and they hate robots, but just in terms of the role they fulfill, they remind me a lot of the Reapers from Mass Effect.
Or the Tyranids from Warhammer.
I mean, that's probably, honestly, if there's any like group, sci-fi group that I think they're compared to too much, but is also very fitting, it's the Tyranids. Also, let's, I know this is, have any, would Abeloth be a fifth positionist?
I think so.
She's basically
Abeloth.
She's basically the average of every single schizo ideology put into one.
I mean, she doesn't really have. Would you say she truly has an ideology? Because all she really cares about is really
destroying stuff.
Yeah, just destruction.
So she's
and power.
Entropy personified. So, and the reason why I'm putting her, like, she has positions in all the quadrants is because she's just so insane and like ridiculous that she's basically everything and she's nothing. Do we talk about this yet?
No, we didn't actually. We didn't cover him.
Yes, since
I mean, we covered him vaguely.
Since he's played Squator, I think he'd like to, talk about the Sith Emperor. Gonna wait for him to unmute himself.
Have you guys talked about Tarkin?
Yeah, we kind of covered him.
Okay.
It was mostly in the context of the. We didn't really put him on the political chart yet. We mostly just talked about him as like in relation to the Empire and kind of his position and his opinion within the Empire. But if I had to place him anywhere, I would put him. I definitely put him in the blue quadrant, but I wouldn't know exactly where. I know he's definitely like way up on the authoritarian scale, but I don't know how far. Like if he's more towards the center, or if he's towards the outskirts.
Yeah, someone like Valkorion would definitely be on the top and the far right, but Tarkin, I think he's sort of like off center right. Just like most of the Empire in general is off center right.
Yeah, that's pretty good place to put most of them.
Where would
then Fish hit.
I know Jason Solo. He's politically pretty interesting. He's sort of like, I don't know, somewhere off center, because he sort of has both an ideology. It's like the ends justify the means. Doing bad things doesn't matter if they're towards a good end. He actually becomes the head of state of the Galactic Republic for a short while. He sort of combines a really weird Sith philosophy where he believes that combining sort of emotions, compassion, and love with the Sith ideology can fit, along with scientific studies of reason, can basically make you incapable of sort of suffering the negative effects of the dark side. I haven't looked into too much, but there was a really good video by a YouTuber who I can't name off the top of my head who goes over it. Jason Solo also has his own little paramilitary group. He sort of is in charge of the galactic equivalent of the Praetorian Guard, except he doesn't like murder the head of state or anything. I mean, he does, but not in that fashion. Jason Solo, he's kind of weird. I don't know where I'd put him. I'd probably just put him. I mean, he's definitely not a libertarian. He was, I guess, he was when he was younger.
I'd put him off right.
Off right, yeah.
It seems like every single one of the people who have an office off right.
Everyone's off right today.
Just
well, but I still would the Empire off right.
You know what I was always kind of curious about? Why didn't the Empire ever have like a paramilitary force?
That was basically the Stormtrooper. No, that was the Death Troopers. The Death Troopers.
No.
The Death Troopers were like their
the
Navy
ISB.
SEAls.
Yeah,
but
the
ISB
was like their paramilitary.
That was for like their
like
intelligence force.
Like General General Yularen.
Oh yeah.
What about this? I know she's not that ideological, but where did Mara Jade sort of stand?
She's probably a libertarian.
Probably lib right.
That's kind of hard for me to place because when she was in Emperor's Hand, she was definitely auth-right, but then I think she's kind of like she's in this weird place where she's like on the line between auth-right and lib-right after she married Luke.
Yeah, and Luke, did we go over him or no?
No, we haven't yet.
Yeah, Luke, I think he's just sort of a generic centrist, honestly.
I'd say green, probably.
Cringe, very cringe.
I mean, do we ever get Luke's opinion on economics?
I mean,
just that question. That question. Do you ever get Luke's opinion on?
Hey, no. In episode 4, he did use greed to get Han Solo to rescue Princess Leia, so he probably accepts capitalism.
Yeah, because like another thing is
is literally funded by Republic taxpayer money. Like they literally say that they were using taxpayer money to fund the academy. So actually, no, corporations do like taxpayer money. So maybe you could still be live right and have this whole organization subsidized by the populace. But
yeah, so I think Luke and like the rebellion in general is pretty lib right, because technically they did liberalize a lot of the economy after taking power.
yes, and
I kind of just consider the.
I mean, Luke's lightsaber.
I mean, like if I was to consider the Rebel Alliance.
I mean, Luke's lightsaber color is literally green. It has to be in like Lord Last.
What'd you say?
Okay.
It was a joke about the Lord Left.
No, I'm talking about Kilhoun.
Yeah, I just was gonna say that the rebellion. It's a big tent organization. Like you could say, Leia. She's kind of in the authorite because she's she's a monarch.
Militaristic.
She's very militaristic as well. But then you have Han Solo, which he's definitely like I'd probably put him in the lib right. And then you'd have like Akbar. He'd also be authorite. You'd have
imperial defectors who probably would be various strands of authorite, but
yeah, and then you have those you have that black guy that ran that militia in Rogue One.
Lando
Calrissian. I'd probably put him in
Saw Gerrera.
Saw Gerrera. I'd
Saw
probably
Gerrera
put him in he's in Red Quadrant. He's
probably, yeah, to be
left,
honest.
I'd probably say.
He's like Che Guevara. Saw Gerrera, Che Guevara.
What about Kyle Katarn?
Was he even political?
Kyle Katarn, I'd probably put him.
I'd probably put him lib right.
If I had to subscribe him to something, yeah, lib right.
Lib right.
The thing is, though, I judge the rebellion kind of by how the New Republic turned out. I think that the New Republic was kind of like an amalgamation of all of their views, and that eventually turned into like a very lib right type of system.
It's funny. What's funny is that in the EU, it's the opposite. The New Republic was sort of chaotic and disorganized, and then
the New Republic was a failure. The New Republic was a failure in both Legends and canon.
Is by merging with the Imperial Remnant, becoming the Galactic Alliance, and becoming a lot more militarized and authoritarian.
Yeah, because the thing is, the Galactic Republic or the New Republic was a failure in both Legends and canon.
Yes, and it's ironic that the Republic is doing so bad against Devon that they're literally asking the Imperial Remnant, who are like just a small fraction of the galaxy in the Northwest, to like help them. It gets that bad, and basically Gilad Pelion, who we could talk about, is like, all right, fine, we'll do it if we merge into one nation state. What's funny is that even though the Imperial Remnant is only like 1% as powerful as the Galactic Empire, they still have like a much better fleet. Like they have 200 Star Destroyers. Which,
yeah.
And
they had an efficient fleet.
Yes, and I'm sure, like, as the Fell Empire expanded, as they had the emission system where basically in the treaty and that was signed that basically ended the Galactic Civil War, any planet could choose to align with either the Republic or the Empire. And the Fells basically exploit this by basically subsidizing and putting like social safety nets on planets to bribe them to join the Fell Empire. So basically, they start rebuilding their fleet to be roughly about where they were before the Galactic Civil War broke out. Maybe not that big, but like,
So maybe the Fell Empire would be like off center.
Yes, it
Yeah.
would. I would put Gilad.
Or like a social democracy kind. It basically became like a social democracy constitutional monarchy.
I guess you could say that, but Gilad Pelion.
So Denmark.
A mixture.
So definitely
Denmark.
So off center, like exactly in the center.
Yes. Do we do Pelion yet? What do we need?
No, we don't. So I think what we should do an intermission. Then we'll move on and talk about Pelion. Try to get as many characters out of the way this evening, and then tomorrow night, which will be the last night of this series, we'll talk about historical parallels and modern related stuff, and then I'll probably link it back to the Alex Jones type stuff. And then I also want to do something at the very end tonight. One of our favorite hobbies on this channel, shitting on Dave Rubin within the context of Star Wars. So no, that is literally one of my favorite things to do, just shitting on Dave Rubin. But anyway, so we're going to go on to an intermission, about 8 minutes long, and just to let you know, everybody, the Right Cafe ended up creating this image, so you can thank him for this. Welcome back, everybody. What would you guys spend your intermission doing?
I was just looking at
just got a brownie.
Oh, I should make brownie. Oh, I don't know if I have brownie. If I do have brownies, I'll make them later. Either way, so were we going to move on to Gilad Pelion next? Was that the plan?
Yep.
Unfortunately, everybody, Ali had to get going, but I think we'll be fine for the three of us. This is going to be a shorter one tonight.
I'm probably going to leave it around 12 p.m.
That's fine. Kilhoon and I can probably carry the rest of it then. But yeah, you can leave early though, if you want, just whenever. I mean, this is a casual show. But either way, so moving on to Pelion. Oh, right, Cass. You want to come on tomorrow night too?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Okay, cool.
Definitely.
And that's when Argent is going to be joining us.
Yeah, Arjun, big fan of you. Yeah. I thought I saw
all those good reactionaries
Star Wars, and I thought he was going to make a video on his channel, but I guess not.
Oh yeah, I don't know, but
yeah, Pelion. I don't know. He just seems like Thrawn, but slightly less ruthless and a bit more of a nice person for IRL. I mean, he wasn't tactically as minded as Thrawn. I mean, that's obvious, but that's not to say he wasn't.
I think he was just the least Machiavellian of all the Imperial officers, and generally the true Imperial nationalist within the Imperial ranks. That was very pragmatic and wasn't really blinded by ambition.
You could say the same about Yularen too, General Yularen, who was head of the ISB.
You could say that for all them.
I believe Pelion actually does become very good friends with Luke and gang after the peace treaty is signed.
He.
And then he dies well into his 90s, I think.
Yeah, no, he died. He just dies of old age.
Oh wait, that's
he's the only Star Wars character to die of old age.
He's actually not. Believe it or not, he's actually murdered by some Dark Jedi. And while commanding troops in his 90s.
Was he retired?
He didn't die of old age.
But was he not retired by that point?
No, he was still in charge. In Star Wars, it's very.
He's like the Joe Biden of the Star Wars universe.
Except, he wasn't senile. He may have been, not as sharp, but there's cases in Star Wars of people living to 100, and dying sort of while still looking relatively young.
Then you have Valkorion, or Vitiate, or Tenebrae, whatever you want to call him.
He is basically the most off-right.
Yeah.
Even more so than Dark Empire Palpatine, basically.
No, he basically he lived basically it took 5 different times to try to kill him.
Yes, and they had to get the most powerful Force users of the era, multiple ones of them, and they had to use all these different charms and incantations to take him down. They even had to get the ghost of his father to be killed, sort of weaken him. And
then there was another update recently where he came back again, I think, for the Old Republic.
For the final time, yeah.
Well, we don't know that.
Fair point, we don't know that.
What? What'd you say?
Fair point, we do not know that. Yeah, we can't tell because he's come back so many damn times, never know.
He's like, has anybody ever played Warcraft? World of Warcraft?
I've not. I don't weigh 200.
No, it's just like what was the quote? Kel'Thas. He's like, it was merely a setback or something. Every time you kill him, he comes back and is like, the last place you killed me, that was merely a setback.
Yes.
It's also.
But I think what's interesting about Vitiate is that I would say he's sort of off left when he is the Sith Emperor, but he becomes very off right when he becomes Valkorion.
Yeah, he goes from being the The Sith Emperor, where that doesn't really give a fuck. He's into nationalizing industries and letting the Dark Council do 90% of the work. Well, then it's Valkorian. He's a family man, which is like the most authorite thing you can be.
Except he's still a sociopath. Just,
Well, yeah, but you can't like destroy your underlying personality. So he's a sociopath as both, but he tried to be a father for a time, and he's like, "Oh, I'm awful at this."
It's sort of weird. I don't know how the hell he. I know he sort of lives on a higher plane of existence, but I don't know how weird it would be to like constant. Like, so he was originally a Sith pureblood, and he's probably changed species so many freaking times based on that amount of bodies he's transferred his essence into. That just seems like a really weird way to live. Like, this technically your mind is influenced by your physical traits.
So each time he was just getting this weird rush of hormones from all these different bodies, and his personality is just getting all fucked up everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah. Imagine if he inhabited a woman going into menopause. That'd be interesting.
Imagine if he inhabited a hot stripper or something.
He'd probably end up marrying one of his Imperial soldiers that's like a brand new private out of basic training. Not to say that I haven't seen that happen in the actual U.S. Army.
Have you actually?
That would be.
Oh,
It would be a similar situation to if Palpatine was able to successfully possess Rey, and But yeah, Vitiate also not just the sort of the way he governed when he became Valkorian and how it differed, but also the aesthetic. The Sith Empire's aesthetic seems like a very off-left aesthetic. Just the way they build everything.
It seems like I think that it's one, I think it's very National Socialistic because it's still very nationalist, but it's very socialist in the way its architecture is. So I would say it's like the Nazi Germany of space.
And
when it comes to at least buildings. And
do any of you know the subreddit R of the Deep Core? If not, it basically some guy made a massive political compass chart for every single Star Wars character. This would actually be really fitting. Let me find it. Give me a moment. You can talk about this while I'm searching for it.
I mean, so not to get into actual like National Socialist ideology, but like Adolf Hitler actually didn't care like what his title would have been. Like if he would have been anointed like King of Germany, he wouldn't have cared. So it's like, I guess under that logic, like you could have the Sith Empire could have kind of followed the same logic where he was the emperor, yes, but his system was one, theocratic, two also very like socialistic in the way that its economics worked. It was very nationalistic in national spirit. Like there was a sense of nationalism amongst the entire population. So, and I don't know how much Vitiate had much influence upon that, but I bet he did have somewhat of an influence on that.
Oh, well, there we go, yes.
Okay, what do we have here? So up in the top corner of the left, funny Coral Man, Darth Crate. I don't know who Father of Shadows is. Preacher of Unity, Sucklord, Spooky. I like that. Spooky.
How is Mar on the?
I don't see him as off left.
Yeah, I don't see Mars off left. That's weird.
Boomer
No.
Boomer Admiral. Evil Grandma. How is Dala incompetent?
I mean, she literally is incompetent. She loses 4 Star Destroyers to like hit her on.
Tarkin's bitch. It should say like, yeah. The only good thing she ever did was promote Boomer Admiral. Blind waifu. That's Visus, right?
Yeah, Visas Mar.
Yeah.
Best Jedi waifu.
The Grinch, Fake Santa, Treaty of Coruscant, more like the suggestion of Coruscant. Blind, deaf, comatose, lobotomy patient. Trained Santa's new hitman. Apprentice, I see you finished my quests. Time to take the credit. Yes. Some blue. I'd say Thrawn is really more like right. Like
Oh yeah,
here.
he's definitely on the right side.
I'd say he's right here. I'd say Thrawn's like right here. Flies like Pinochet's helicopter. Philosopher knows democracy is unbased. Shits on the weak. Pisses on and comes. His Sith are like genders. There are two and a below. Oh God. Let's see. Weatherboy changes his name twice. Exposes. Personally, I played a female Inquisitor. I made her look like Elsa from Frozen. I even managed to get the name Elsa. But okay, the Senate, based Brit WTF, will make your favorite things legal. Can and will kill you twice over. Plays 40 chess. Hates lightsabers. Is that specifically his clone?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Palpatine just didn't like using lightsabers in general.
Cthulhu.
I don't know. I believe there's like some Cthulhu Sith word at some point. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I do not know who he is.
Santa. Now I get it. There's plenty of red helpers. Nobody cares about his wife. Supports justice for murder victims. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows you need a power amp, so be evil for goodness sake. Spy waifu. She's a waifu. Like Lana Beniko is a waifu.
Yes, but only from before the Eternal Empire arc. Like in the Revan arc, she was the waifu. I did not like her after that.
No. Oh.
I base my waifu off of personality more than also looks, but personality is a big killer for me. And when she just turns so bland, during the Eternal Empire arc, I just lost all interest.
Professional gets the job done. Knows that unmarried sexism. Wait, what's that from?
Yeah, so basically, Boba Fett says that premarital sex is immoral in one of his books.
That's a very Mandalorian thing to say. I mean,
yeah. I love that line from that one book. I didn't even read the book. I just saw the line online.
Illuminati got a 40 chess. Yeah, he was. Didn't Lore say? I know Lore said that he was the second most powerful Sith Lord behind the Emperor.
Yeah, I could actually see that. But when you're head of Sith intelligence, you're kind of naturally like that.
Whatever happened to his daughter? Remember he had a daughter, and she was like, his crazy teenage daughter took over?
I think you either kill her or she kind of goes into hiding, or it varies depending on what you do as the Imperial agent. I personally supported Darth Illuminati coming back, so I kind of killed his daughter.
Dave's Vault. Tried to use the Sith to destroy the Sith. 40 chess, went on a crusade to beat Crusaders. Force Storm, scored one of the best waifus ever. Yep, Bastila. I was talking last night. Bastila is my Jedi waifu. Leroy Jenkins versus Santos.
She is the tsundere waifu of Star Wars, I would say.
Yeah. Santa won. Everything always links back to Santa.
Santa's got his fingers everywhere.
Yeah. Santa Jr. Black sheep of the North Pole. Honestly, I was always thinking that basically my theory was for the Eternal Empire that Vitiate or that Valkorion wasn't actually Vitiate, and Vitiate was actually Valen. Valen was Vitiate's new form.
I mean, it does make sense. And arguably rivals Valkorion power-wise. Saying that way.
Yeah. Anarcho Ho. Damaged Christmas Town. That is true. Just not approved. Is this Jay? No, Jalen.
I'm unaware.
Jariel from the comics. Brick. Is that?
That's Darth Zana.
Oh, Darth Zana. Also Sith waifu.
Nomi Sunrider. We have that. The Faker. Not brave enough for politics.
Big Floppa. Ungrateful Saboteur. Who's that?
I'm unaware, but I do know what Lord Khan is. Basically, he made the Sith egalitarian. It's pretty cringe, you know.
Yeah.
He's cringe.
The Tree Hugger. What? Wario. Kills Exodus.
I believe that's like some obscure, like, hive mind from the old expanded universe. There's a lot of obscure shit.
Supreme Warrior. Oh, dude, I loved this guy. I forget what his name is, but I loved this guy. Just about losing banana points with Monk Goddess. Frog. Good relations with the furries he has. Lived in isolation. Old and sometimes weird, but wise. Yeah. Terrorist. Wants to do... Wait, who is this one again? 9/11 on Odessan. Hates New Santa Brigade.
I think that's wait.
Is that
I think that's yeah, no, that's not him. That's I think somebody from the Imperial Agent storyline.
Okay. SJW. Sims for Darth Nox. Why are there Sith in this Sith Empire? Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, that's Zane from the original the KOTOR comics. Weaponized snack. Easter egg waifu. Force pirate healer. Funny hentai man. Is this?
That's Darth Vendetti, the first Darth Lord who was able to like do essence transfer and shit.
Okay. Bookworm.
Don't know who that is.
Darth Lord of the Banks. No, that just goes back to the him being the basically the
George Soros.
Did you ever hear of the dark tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? I thought not. It's not a story the Jedi would. I'm not going to redo it. History shall have. Speaking of which, pro businessman.
Best girl. What the fuck?
Is that Abeloth?
Yeah, that's Abeloth. No.
Why does Santa get more visitors?
I wonder why.
Is this Ram Koda?
Yes, I think that's Ram Koda.
Yeah.
Oh, who's in the bottom right corner?
Hold on. Youngling enthusiast. Dark Lord of Stonks.
Oh yeah, that's Dark Vectivus. Basically the only Sith Lord who wasn't evil, and he's basically a businessman and got his apprentice to like sell shit for him. He normally dies. He dies on his bed due to an illness next to his family, which is probably... Yeah. I don't know how he was able to do that and still be a Sith Lord, but...
Space Healer, this is Luke's grandson, right?
It more like great...
Yeah, that's Kate Skywalker.
So yeah, like...
No, it's just grandson.
I know it's not his
grandson.
It's like his great-great-grandson. This was like 100...
No, because it was...
So Luke's son was born in 25 AY.
Oh yeah, it was his great-grandson. God, I was thinking that he was only his grandson. Oh yeah, now I'm remembering that one Skywalker that is very irrelevant to the lore.
Pirate Boy. That unironically, this was my nickname in high school.
Oh, let's see. Except, what's up with the ultimate Chad, the centrist? I know, you can't be a centrist and be a Chad. But,
Said the galaxy, beat the Senate, strongest Jedi ever. Oh wait, didn't they retcon it and now Rey is the strongest Jedi ever or something?
yes, but
no. She's not. She never will be.
No. The reason
she's
the reason she's the strongest Jedi ever is because she's the bestest ever.
Loyal friend, never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down.
Okay, so ultimate Chad, we have that. Yeah, Rey is all the Jedi, apparently. But either way, so that was a little fun. That was fun. Anyway, so would you guys like? Yeah.
I was just thinking that this was a great character analysis. Now,
it was good.
This is all we needed.
Yeah.
It's 1:12:03. I'm gonna be heading out.
Okay, and we have your replacement is on his way anyway. So yeah, it was great having you on, right, Cass? Love to have you on again tomorrow.
All right, see ya. Good night.
See ya. All right, so Darth Kilhoun, it is you and I until Edgeworth arrives. He's coming in a second. But either way,
all right,
Edgelord.
So who should we talk about?
You know what we should do? Let's commentate on Dave Rubin's Star Wars takes.
Oh my God, Dave Rubin, the centrist empire. They're so collectivist. Makes them cringe. I don't know. I'm not a good Dave Rubin. I purposely don't watch any of his cringe.
Oh, he's terrible. He might be like one of the worst.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't watch him. I don't watch Ben Shapiro. I don't watch any like normies in air quotes.
Yeah, I can actually respect. I can actually respect Ben Shapiro, but I do not respect Dave Rubin at all. He's just okay. Let's see what this guy has to say, just from his.
Oh God, I can feel myself
Monday was my
cringing already.
41st birthday.
Oh fuck! Why can't we hear it? Hold on. Let's try this again. Anyway, what do you think of the political compass? Yeah.
What about the political compass?
No, the political compass. You know, the Chad one that we just did.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think it's all pretty accurate except for some of the placings. I think they just needed to place some people somewhere and make it funny sounding.
Yeah.
It's helium inflated.
Oh shit! We're starting.
So Monday was my 41st birthday, and this helium-inflated stormtrooper showed up at my door, and I couldn't possibly pass up the opportunity to use him as both a prop and a metaphor for this week's direct message. One of the ideas which keeps popping up in the discussions we're having around here is that old political labels are becoming more and more meaningless by the day. The terms progressive and liberal have virtually nothing to do with each other anymore, and if you're a classical liberal, you're certainly not a leftist. Conservative and Republican don't have much to do with each other today, as Trump, a populist who doesn't focus on social issues like gay marriage and legalizing marijuana, is now the leader of the GOP. For these reasons, as well as the real-time crumbling of our mainstream media, the battle for freedom now is between the authoritarians and the libertarians.
What?
He's just making it so simple. He's just simplifying this entire thing.
Yeah. Oh my God, I hate the cringe normies because they always try to break it down as like, oh, we're so great, we're so conservative, and that's why we can't keep on simplifying these terms because Trump is a populist and even though a populist, you can be on both the left and the right. It's like,
do you think Trump was even? Okay, do you think Trump was even really on the right?
He was a centrist. He was a centrist, like just wanting to go. I mean, yeah, he gave the right a voice when the right was very timid, but that was about it. He was the one willing to actually like say what was on his mind, and that's like the thing that really pissed off the left the most about him. It's just he was also very normie though. Like he was very centrist in his personality. Like he was essentially the griller that decided to stop just grilling and actually say something.
Yeah, that's not inaccurate.
Oh yeah, basically, like my dad loves him. Basically, like I feel like my dad thinks he can have a beer with Trump.
How are you doing, Kamita?
I'm doing good.
This is your first time on?
Oh yeah, I saw you guys talking about Star Wars like last week, and I felt bad that I couldn't join. I just watched like the Bad Batch episode, and I'm like, okay, this seems perfect.
Yeah. Oh, welcome on. I mean, you're sort of catching us near the end. We're having a final stream tomorrow.
That seems good at least.
So yeah, and then we're gonna go for another hour tonight, if that. And then this is a shorter one, more low key tonight. We haven't had as many views, but we've just been talking about various characters and where we think they lie on kind of the political spectrum. And now we're watching Dave Rubin cringe. I'm sure you're familiar with our friend David Rubin.
I don't think I even watched the full video from. Wasn't he like part of TYT or no? Am I thinking?
Yeah, he was part of TYT, and then he was known as the liberal who left the left. That was his whole shtick for the longest time. And then
yeah.
So yeah, we're watching his weird authoritarian versus libertarian take on.
Dude, I'll be honest though, I would kind of want that like stormtrooper thing though.
Yeah.
That is, the battle over the soul of America and the West in general is now about people who want the government to have more control over your life versus the people who want the government to have less control over your life.
Would you boil it down to it that simple?
No, never. Because there's right-wing libertarians that are free marketeers, and then there's authoritarian right-wingers that would honestly probably prefer military junta at this point.
Yeah. What about you guys? Would you guys prefer military junta, or would you guys prefer libertarian and Kappa state?
Oh yeah, and Cap state. At least with that, it's just like the government's not oppressing me. Or like,
I mean, military juntas aren't necessarily oppressive. Like Franco's Spain was very.
I mean, Pinochet was like Chile. That was basically like a free market liberal junta. If you think about it.
Yeah.
Not for his enemies.
Not for his enemies.
I mean, but his enemies were communists. And
I'm gonna say
people,
this.
So
some of his enemies were probably communists. I feel like they would say like Bernie Sanders would be considered a commie in their mind.
I mean in my mind too, he is a commie. he deserves a helicopter treatment.
Bernie's just a social democrat, though. In all seriousness.
Yeah.
You see, that was the well, this is off topic, but I was going to say the problem with like some terminology. I thought I was a socialist because I thought I liked universal health care, so I identified one for a while. Even though I feel like I'm more like social democracy.
I think that by now you probably know that I.
Oh, I mean, if you want to let the video play, let go. I was just about to say, like, yeah, I used to be a nationalist, but then I found out, well, I like family being the most important part of government, so now I'm a monarchist.
Fall solidly in the camp of the people who want the government to have less control over how you live. And that brings me to my friendly and trusty stormtrooper beside me. In the original 1977 Star Wars, the stormtroopers were the foot soldiers for the Galactic Republic.
He got that so wrong. It was the Galactic Empire.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
I know.
On live camera, this isn't even edited.
No. And we sound like such gatekeepers right now, but honestly, I think gatekeeping is acceptable. There's nothing wrong with gatekeeping.
Well,
I
this
think.
is like the reason why it exists. He's literally just trying to like what's it called? Like I was gonna say like cultural appropriation, but it's just like he's taking our stuff and not even accurately representing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then he also, and that's why on his Twitter, I mean, at least before he blocked me, it said his Twitter said he was from the Dagobah system. Oh yeah, I criticized his shitty ass book, and criticized his shitty ass book, and he blocked me. All I did is I say it wasn't the best written. That's all I said. And he's like a snowflake he is.
I'll be honest. People who really block people, I honestly believe they control their Twitters. Like, there's some politicians where it's just an intern, but I feel like Dave Rubin. If Dave Rubin's going around blocking people, it's him, and you're really hurting his feelings.
Whereas you have like Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson will actually engage with you, and he'll actually disagree with you, and you can actually have a debate with him on Twitter. Like that's
Dude,
actually
I got called
cool.
out by Ben Shapiro's dad before on Twitter. I think
Ben Shapiro has a dad.
I think his dad's Neon Star or something, or that was his old account. I think.
Honestly, though, I think Ben Shapiro's sister might be more annoying than Ben Shapiro.
Dude, my friend, one of my favorite YouTubers said like whenever he sees like Abby Shapiro, she just sees Ben Shapiro's face, which is heck.
Yes, I do too. It's just like I can actually stomach Ben Shapiro. Like I mean, if I just want a normie right wing take or normie conservative basic bitch conservative boomer con take, I'll see what Ben Shapiro's up to. But
the only
I won't.
conservative that I can't stand, I can tolerate like Ben Shapiro all day. I can't stand Steven Crowder.
Oh no, Steven Crowder's.
God, Steven Crowder.
Yeah, no, I also
honestly can't stand them both.
Okay, you guys are gonna hate me for saying this, but I kind of like Tucker. I disagree with a lot of the stuff that he says, but like.
I mean, the thing with Tucker is just like he says like the right thing about some issues, but it's just like he's so wrong about the other ones. So it's just like.
Yeah.
To me, he's still more bad
like,
than good, but still.
For me, Tucker like hits like one good note, and he has 100 awful notes after it.
Yeah, like he's a.
I mean, apparently he kind of kept us out of war, so
he sucks on economics. He sucks on economics. Like he's basically like a leftist on economics.
Oh yeah, he literally wanted to ban usury or outrageous what are they called, like interest loans or whatever. Like it should be like less than 10% or whatever.
I mean,
let's finish Dave Rubin, guys.
Oh yeah, sorry.
A massive evil military regime who wanted to control every star system in the galaxy. This would qualify as authoritarian.
No shit.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
And maybe the Empire was a bit of federalism because they didn't really care about like the internal politics of each star system, though, right?
Not really.
Yeah, it was very like Imperium style, where it's like each system, as long as they paid their taxes, is like, yeah, go do what you wish.
It was kind of like, am I wrong? Like pre-colonial America, or not pre-colonial, but like America before like the Revolution. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
I mean, well, that's how the British Empire kind of functioned in general. It was very like they had these charters, and these colonies would establish themselves however the fuck they wanted to, whether it was like direct democracy, representative, or if it was like just a pure authoritarian system, as long as they still answer to the crown.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I think Maryland had a duke at first, and it's just like after a while they got rid of him.
Well, yeah, of course, the American Revolution happened, and you can't really have a duke inside of a republic. That would kind of be a little redundant.
All right, let's see what else he says.
We're not keepers of the peace as the emperor had promised, but if
that's what Mace Windu said, bitch.
Authoritarian rulers who wanted to endlessly expand their power, hence their building of the Death Star to blow up any planet which didn't fall in line with their desires. Blowing up a planet is a pretty good way to get
it was only supposed to be used as a fear move, basically, right?
Well, no, it was meant one.
Basically,
okay, there's
the same
two
use
theories
of a nuclear
because, like,
weapon.
one
Deterrence.
Yeah, it was deterrence, but also Sidious knew about the Yuzhen Vong. He built them for the Yuzhen Vong as well.
Yeah. And he wanted to build multiple. Whereas Thrawn just wanted to build a bunch of Superstar Destroyers.
I mean, there's multiple strategies on taking out the Vong. I personally say like a couple Death Stars wouldn't have hurt in the galaxy.
Yeah, I agree with that. But we'll continue with. He just said blowing up a planet is a pretty good way to get people to do what you want. It's like another no shit. No shit, Dave.
Yeah.
Now, dare I talk about the prequels, but trust me, it works for this metaphor. 2002's Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, takes place about 20 years before the original.
22!
20. I mean, I can get him for that.
Didn't George Lucas basically base like the Republic and the Senate, or like did he base like the prequels off like George Bush? I wonder if he's gonna make that comparison.
No. Okay, so you missed the part earlier where we were talking about Alex Jones. We watched a clip of Alex Jones where he was comparing it to like the Bush administration.
Oh wow! Is Dave Rubin gonna do this?
No, he's not smart. He's not as smart as Alex Jones. Not saying Alex Jones is like particularly brilliant because he isn't, but like he's definitely smarter than Dave Rubin.
He's more
Alex at
too,
least
to be honest.
has like he has like an 80 IQ while Rubin's like down at like a 10.
Yeah.
Star Wars. In this film, the Stormtroopers, at that time known as the Clone Troopers, were the good guys.
Wait.
They allied with the Jedi in defense of the Democratic Republic.
The clones and the Stormtroopers are two different things. That's the
God.
This is why
so
gatekeeping.
Cringe.
This is why gatekeeping in our fandom is important, guys.
Hey, to be honest, he's right on like the limit because there were some clone troopers still in the Empire, like the 51st Legion. So he's
501st, yeah.
501st. So he's technically right, but that's pretty wrong, pretty much.
Yeah.
That is true. Okay, should we continue?
Yes.
Okay.
Eventually, Chancellor Palpatine, who had consolidated power himself and secretly ordered the creation of the clone army, took control of the Stormtroopers and the Senate and used democracy against itself, at the same time going from Chancellor to Emperor. In 2015's The Force Awakens, which takes place about 20 years after the original trilogy, the Stormtroopers are again the bad guys, this time in the form of the soldiers for the authoritarian First Order, which has risen from the ashes of the Galactic Republic. One of the heroes of the story, Finn, is a
What?
They're fighting the Galactic
Republic. Galactic Republic? I thought they rose from the ashes of the Galactic Empire. He's mixing up the...
Yeah, what?
Why is he calling the Republic the Empire?
I don't know. This is cringe. It's oh my god. Palpatine did not take over the Senate using stormtroopers. He was literally he was democratically elected as emperor. Like he pulled a Napoleon. If you think about it,
he basically pulled a Hitler. Basically,
Palpatine
where
was
he just kind of consolidated power, or like took power away from the legislator.
Well, no, he pulled a Napoleon because that's what Napoleon did with the directory. Like he's pretty much ceased the directory's function, and then then he had a temporary parliament vote, and they voted him as emperor. That's essentially what Palpatine did.
Yeah, no,
he was a Napoleon. He was Napoleon. Yeah, he manipulated Jar Jar, which was
do you know what
unironically.
Awesome? Like honestly, so. Like, I said this the other night, but, like, Jar Jar, I think episode 1, it was one of the first movies I remember seeing in the theater. I was 3 or 4. And I ended up going to... I thought Jar Jar was fucking hilarious when I was a kid. I even had, like, a blow-up Jar Jar swimming pool. But, like, I mean, he's pointless. He's useless. Utterly useless. But I think it would have been cool if they turned him into like a Moff or something. If Palpatine made him like an honorary Moff.
No, no, he's military governor of Naboo.
He did have an imperial. I think he did have an imperial position though in canon, and then he lost it completely.
What happened to him?
Yeah, he
like wasn't there a joke like his father killed him?
No, his father will try to commit suicide because he hated him. That was like a non-canon comment. Though. And his father's name was George R. Banks.
Jar Jar really wasn't that bad in like the Clone Wars TV show, though.
He was based in the Clone Wars TV show. He was actually pretty cool in Clone Wars. Okay, we'll finish watching Mr. Dubin. Mr. Rave Dubin.
Stormtrooper gone rogue who suddenly realizes that he, as an individual, can chart.
As an individual, can chart his own destiny.
Oh God,
that is such a Dave Rudin thing to say.
Chart his own destiny. He puts his collectivist past as a
collectivist.
His collectivist past. What does that mean?
Oh my God! So every
military
world
is doing.
Is
this sounds like a college student trying to clump, force in all the vocabulary words that he knows are like. He's trying to get an report
into a paper.
It's like we just need to understand that, like, I mean, people. Yes, humans are individuals, but we ourselves, as individuals, make up collectives. Collectives are completely natural.
Yes. It's like a nation cannot exist without people. It's like that's the basic foundation.
Stormtrooper behind him, and he becomes one of the heroes of the story. The point of all of this is that it isn't this Stormtrooper you should fear. It's the power which commands him.
Well, I'm pretty sure we should fear the Stormtrooper too.
Yeah, I mean, he is a trained soldier as well. Which
wasn't he like a trained janitor? Or like that was his main function, though?
No, we're talking about Stormtroopers in general.
Oh, sorry, I thought he meant then.
Yeah.
Man, that was a weird plot point, I think.
No, I thought it was pretty.
Yeah,
funny.
that was
Force Awakens. I actually liked the Force Awakens and the Last Jedi. I liked those ones. I did not like the Rise of Skywalker.
I'll be honest, I haven't watched Rise of Skywalker yet, but I kind of like some of the choices they made with Last Jedi. After I've kind of thought about it.
With Finn being a janitor though, like I actually find that very like funny from the military side, because if you do sign up as like infantry in the army, you're essentially a janitor that occasionally does fun stuff.
Is that what you are?
No, I'm an army engineer, so I build stuff for the army. I don't do a whole lot of janitor work.
Any ideology can be used as a force for good or for evil.
So fascism can be, Nazism can be used as a force for good?
Yeah, actually. That happened in China, actually.
Absolutely.
Did you ever hear of John Rabe? He was a German guy who basically tried to stop the rape of Nanking from happening. And he said he was inspired by German ideals to basically protect workers.
Well, no, he actually was a member of the National Socialist Party, and he was a German dignitary in Nanking. And he saved like a few 100,000 Chinese from the rape of Nanking. Oh
yeah, I've heard.
Interesting piece of history.
And he said he was inspired by Hitler.
Well, no, he was actually a member of the National Socialist Party.
I mean, I'm talking about the ideology himself. I think that would be him as an individual making the right decision, but I don't really know. I mean,
I'm just saying I do know of a counter of like a good Nazi, or that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, no, there were definitely a few good Nazis here, and that, like Martin Heidegger, I'd say would be another good. Like the only reason he joined the Nazis was so he could get tenure at a university. Although he was a bit anti-Semitic, so but what's interesting is Heidegger is actually
everybody in Europe was.
True.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
like Russia used to be like the anti-Semitic capital of the world before.
Oh no,
Nazi Germany.
Stalin was in the midst of planning a giant pogrom before he
Really?
died.
I knew
basically
he targeted Jewish
he
families.
Holocaust
That's the
times
only thing I remember with Stalin.
No, he was a major anti-Semite.
But
Wouldn't surprise
he
me.
became an anti-Semite because of all the Jews that were within the Communist Party. He didn't like the Jews that were controlling the Russian workers.
Okay.
Man,
Yeah,
it's like the National Socialists thought the Jews were controlling the communists, and the communists thought the Jews were controlling like the fascists.
And that's why we should be reining in
Look, we should be reining in authoritarianism of any kind.
Authoritarianism of any kind,
God.
Even when it's your sort of authoritarianism.
No, if my sort of
no,
well, like let's let's say I want to enact like some kind of like libertarian dictatorship or whatever. Like I don't self-identify with the label of libertarian, but unfortunately, my politics lie somewhere around where Dave Rubin claims his do. But I've actually read classical liberal theory. But unlike Dave Rubin, who hasn't read a single book in his life except his own piece of shit. But other than that,
and then mine would be a totally like milquetoast authoritarian monarchy where church and community is at the center and it's very wholesome. It's like would that authoritarianism be truly that bad?
Okay, papist.
I know.
This whole metaphor took place in a galaxy far, far away, but the lessons that it presents are ones we can use right here on Earth. Joining me to discuss authoritarianism versus libertarianism is author, professor, and podcaster Thaddeus Russell. Our friends at Learn Liberty have sent him.
Thaddeus Russell's actually okay, but he shouldn't be subjecting himself to Dave Rubin's idiocy.
Our way, and to loosely quote Obi-Wan Kenobi, this is the episode you've been looking for.
So is Dave Rubin just an idiot,
No.
or is he just like somebody who just like changed political sides for money? Or both?
He's a midwit.
Yeah, he just midwit.
He's not dumb, but he's not particularly. He's not an intellectual.
To be honest, I feel like he might be smart if he made like millions or like he has this many fans or something.
Well, maybe it's his fans who are the idiots.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's
I'm
the
just
fact
saying
that
he
he
kind of
rebelled
gamed the
against.
system by like changing elite or like political sides in what seemed like a fake way.
Not as much as Candace
Yeah,
Owens. Candace Owens was super like. She
Didn't
did
you
it
want to
overnight.
dox like racist people? Like,
Yeah, she does.
that was like 2016, I think.
Or
2015 with her.
I still do not trust any of these people that were on the left and quote unquote came to a revelation and came to the right. It's like, no, I will not trust you. And people like David Rubin prove that these midwits cannot be trusted because they're just uninspired political theorists.
Do you want to tell you somebody who did change political sides like radically that I do kind of believe? Hunter Avalon.
Yeah, he had a pretty bad take the other day on hormone blockers. I don't want to get into talking about this right now, but he's like.
But I'm just saying, like he used to go from like 500,000 views a video, and now he's just doing leftist talking points, and he's getting like 2,000 views a video. So I mean, like he definitely didn't do it for like the money or whatever.
Yeah, I might be having Hunter on actually.
Really?
For a conversation, yeah.
Nice.
Either way,
I'll be honest. He was somebody who was like Steven Crowder for me for a little while. Like
he kind of annoyed me. My brothers always liked him, even because my brother's fairly conservative. I don't identify as a conservative, but he is. But either way, excuse me. But he kind of annoyed me back when he was on the right. And he seems a lot happier now, and he seems like more of a shitlord. And I kind of like, he was like
he has a wife and kid right now.
Yeah, he was a malicious shitlord back in the day, But now he's like a funny
That's the reason.
shitload.
I think I watched like a gay video from him, or a Muslim video where he just kind of shitted on Muslim people for a while. And I only watched like 2 minutes of it, and I'm like, oh, I can't really watch this. Like, that's how bad it was for me. Or like, this was like 3 or 4 years ago, I think.
Okay, so we're going to watch one more clip of Dave Rubin that sort of has to do with this, and then we're going to take
Star Wars.
And then we're going to take, well, sort of, it has to do with the authoritarianism aspect. Then we're going to take our last intermission, and then we'll spend another like 30 minutes getting back on topic to the Star Wars characters. But hold on. Unfortunately, the only way we could get to this clip is in a Sam Cedar video, and I'm not a fan of Sam Cedar. I liked Michael Brooks, but I do not like Sam Cedar. Where are we?
Let's talk in terms of intellectual, or I should say a medical dark web that is going to blow your. Here is Tucker Carlson bringing on Dave Rubin.
Talk about a shitty book.
Is he Dr. Dave Rubin?
Dr. Dave.
We just call him Dr. Dave around here, to explain how YouTube is being completely discredited.
That would have been completely unimaginable 2 months ago.
Well, Tucker, there's so much to talk about here. First off, I didn't realize I was going to be on a sci-fi show tonight, but we are entering a dystopian future. We are entering an authoritarian future because, as I've said to you before, authoritarians love authoritarianism. So
that's all I wanted to show you guys. Authoritarian.
Yeah, no shit.
Okay. Okay.
Liberals like liberal policies.
I mean, on libertarians love libertarianism. Fascists love fascism.
Yeah. Communists love communism.
I mean, I don't know. These are some hot takes, I think. I mean, this is some controversial stuff. I mean, do you really think that, like,
the only term I can think
do you really think
progressive
opposition?
It's like
I think I mean, I might be wrong, but I think progressives might actually like progressivism.
Wow. I never thought of it like that.
Galactic imperialists also might like the Galactic Empire. Anyway, so while we mull over and contemplate these things, these are the issues that matter. We are going to go on another intermission, and we will be back soon. And we will finish by talking about some more characters, and then we will continue tomorrow night. Will be the last night of this series of the Political Pigpen episode 21 series, episode 21.99. And but anyway, so go do what you need to do. Go take a piss. Go get a snack, go make some tea, go shotgun a beer, go do whatever you need to do, and we'll be right back. All right, I have no idea where Komita went, but at the moment it is just you and I, Darth Kilhoun. How was your intermission?
All right. I found a good meme for if we want to talk about Finn's political compass. If it's on your Discord.
Oh, did you send it to me? Oh,
Yeah.
Yep, I see your message. Oh God, I love this. I love this. My dad was in the Navy, and he used to tell me this when I was a kid. Well, it's really small. It's really tiny. I don't know if we can. Let's see. Let's see if anybody can see it. Hold on.
Thank you.
Did your device get disconnected?
I don't know. I just clicked on something and put me in backstage or something.
Yeah, I don't know. We can barely see it.
Oh no!
So bad you had to mop up the rain. Ooh.
Oh well, yeah. That's a poor soldier there having to mop up. So talking about Finn being a janitor, it's like, yeah, if you sign up as infantry, FYI, in the U.S. Army, you're going to be a designated janitor and a lawn mower and whatever else needs to be done cleaning wise.
I mean, remind me never to join the infantry.
Oh yeah.
Is it true that the Navy's filled with gay people?
The Navy? Oh yeah. I mean, I probably.
Oh yeah.
Why is that?
I went to I don't know. It's so weird because every time I interact with the Navy, I always see like 1 out of 10 has a gay lisp, and I'm like, how is that normal?
Wait, is it? I don't think it's an officer thing. I think it's more of a sailor thing.
It's a combo of both, because when I went to AIT, we had 3 Navy guys training alongside us with the Army. Like, we outnumbered them way too much to them, but there was 2 of them were obese, 1 male, 1 female, and then there's another guy, and he was athletic, but he had a gay lisp. I was just like, you are literally the stereotype of the Navy wrapped up into 3 individuals.
Okay, I'm sorry, but whenever I think, like, my theater department was like the gayest thing at my high school. So I'm just imagining theater kids in the Navy. Is that accurate or no?
I was actually a theater kid, believe it or not.
Most of the time, it is the theater students that do end up joining the Navy. I don't know why it attracts them there. But then the evangelical Christians also like to join the Air Force. I don't know why.
They don't want to join the Navy.
Yes, that is true. That is strange. But yeah, no. But,
and then,
but we had
I don't know.
But like I was saying, my theater department back when I was in high school was like the least gay theater department ever. Like you had your friend.
Like, when did you go to high school? Because I graduated like a year ago.
I graduated 2015.
Okay, so like 4 years ago, or like 5.
6.
6.
Yeah.
Anyway,
when I went, which was.
And then have you guys noticed? So Kilhoun, you're the only person here among the 3 of us. I mean, unless
I'm not in the military.
Unless Komita's not telling us something, but who's in the military? Would you say that the military, like the U.S. military in general, or like usually tends to lean conservative because that's kind of the stereotype? That's at least that's at least how the Navy is, because my dad was in the Navy, and that's what he always told me.
Well, yeah, back in the Navy back in the day used to be. Today, I'd say they're roughly 50-50 split. It depends on which part of the Army you're in. Like my part, the engineers tend to be extremely conservative. Same with like all the infantry and all the other combat arms are very, conservative. Like you'll only see 90% of them being conservative. But then you get into the non-combat arms, and that's where you tend to get the more split. Like it still leans conservative, but I couldn't tell you like by how much it leans that way. The Marines are like overall, like I'd say a good 3/4 of it are always conservative. No matter which corps of the Marines you're in. Air Force is made up of a bunch of evangelical Christians, so to me they're cringe being Catholic myself, but at least they're somewhat conservative.
Is there like any like are they like traditional conservatives? Because I always hear like conservatives who go to, or like the military men who go to Afghanistan typically want us to get out. So they're like a different, kind of like a different breed of conservatives.
I would say that none of us are neocons in the military.
Well, evangelical Christian conservatives generally tend to be neocons.
And they always want to fight wars against Israel.
Yeah, which is fucking retarded. But I would say that majority of the time you will not see one neocon in the actual military unless they're like in the Pentagon.
Some of them I heard tend to be like, how many libertarians do you generally tend to see? Because libertarians generally tend to hate war more than any other idea, even more than the progressives.
I always hear like some people were turned into libertarians after their tour of service, like in Afghanistan. I think I heard
they become libertarian. Like war is what made them libertarians.
Yeah,
there's two ways that people go down after going to like Iraq or Afghanistan. They either go super authoritarian or they go super libertarian. There's no real like in between route. And I think that's just what war really does. Like one of my drill sergeants, he his literal right out of basic training, he went to Afghanistan and he was a complete libertarian mentality. He did not care about literally anything. He even had a divorce and he was like, I don't care about that bitch. But then there was another drill sergeant that was like, I would say that he was a closet natsock.
Oh God.
After he went to Afghanistan. So, yeah, you just see this like two strikingly different personalities come out.
What's more common
of the same area?
After like, is it like a 50-50 or is it just like
Well, the authoritarians tend to stick around a lot longer, so you see them a lot more in the military. Well, then the libertarians mostly get out after that tour. So. Like within the military itself, it's a lot more prevalent.
Speaking of Nat socks, would you say there's any Nat socks in Star Wars?
Dedicated Nat socks. I mean, except for the First Order, I really couldn't say that there's a dedicated Nat sock faction. Because
I'm thinking of like definitely the Empire. They launched genocides against like several alien species.
I mean, the Empire definitely like in the red area of the political compass. That's what we agreed. For the most part.
Yeah, the Galactic Empire is interesting because they're
authoritarian
a secular
socialism,
monarchy. Then monarchy too, because technically Palpatine. So I think it's kind of weird. No, they are monarcho-communism. That weird communist branch.
No, I feel like the Empire is just like it doesn't micromanage, or it's just like it largely leaves planets alone unless there's like you actively divide them.
Yeah, so that's why I actually more. I'm just doing that as a joke, okay. But I more relate them to like how the Imperium functions, where it's very libertarian in the case of letting planets and federalist in the way that they let planets kind of do their own thing, but still having a very centralized. Well, the Imperium doesn't have a very centralized military, but the Empire has a very centralized military force.
It's always back to 40. And it's always back to 40K with you reactionary types.
I mean, 40K is literally the reactionary universe. Okay, so it doesn't help
that's why it's fun.
Yeah, it's 40K is like you literally look at the Imperium; they embody reactionaryism as a ideology.
They're the good guys, which is funny.
There's, I mean, like to me, I view the Imperium as the good guys, but some people, of course, are like, no, there's no good guys, and I'm like, no, the Imperium is the quasi good guys.
Closest thing to the good guys,
but yeah, closest thing. But yeah, I would say that
we should do a politics of 40K stream sometime.
I mean, we'd have to go through each individual faction and sub-faction because each one is so different.
Yeah.
Like, we could talk about the Death Corps. We could talk about the Death Corps of Krieg, how they're just like that suicidal, nihilistic mentality. Or then you can go to the like Ultramarines, where they're essentially space Romans.
Yeah.
And
But okay. So,
so
let's actually move on and talk about some
that's another rabbit hole.
What was
Yeah.
that?
Okay.
Oh, I was just gonna say, if you guys ever want to have another political discussion, I was gonna say Fallout New Vegas.
Oh, Caesar's Legion.
That's the
yeah,
Caesar
Caesar's
one, but it's
Legion.
like oh, you said
Caesar's
Caesar's
Legion is
Legion?
the way to go.
No, they're the good guys. What are you talking about? California Republic sucks.
And maybe you're right about the Legion.
Padme.
All right. Oh, this bitch.
She's like typical liberal. She's just a liberal Democrat. She's like a Democrat.
Oh yeah, she wants to cut military spending. Like she wanted to stop that clone bill.
Yeah, she's
also a monarchist. Don't forget that liberal monarchist.
Constitutional.
She's a cringe monarchist.
No, she'd be like a Lib Dem
monarchist.
in the UK.
Did you guys ever see that? She's a monarch that's democratically elected.
Yeah, we discussed that the other
that's
night already.
Oh, okay.
An elective monarchy, which is it's also very cringe, hereditary all the way.
I wish they said that in the movies though. A monarchist who's wants to save democracy.
I mean that is kind of like what that's how I mean, you can kind of see the British royals as well, especially Elizabeth being like that. And
but they're not elected, though.
Well, yeah, they're not elected, but they still support the democratic institutions of their nation. So it's like you can kind of see like Elizabeth like that. I think that's also kind of like what influenced George Lucas with the creation of Padme was like he was loosely basing it off of Queen Elizabeth II, of this defender of British democracy and British liberalism, while also still being the
I don't know why.
queen.
I was just thinking like Princess Diana because she was young or something.
Well,
maybe.
Princess Diana though.
I didn't know.
I don't know where politics good enough.
Based Margaret Thatcher.
Padme's based off Margaret Thatcher.
Based Margaret Thatcher. No, have you do you guys watch The Crown? Because that's actually a pretty good show.
A bit, but I kind of dropped off when they started doing some anti-monarchy stuff around the third season. I was like, no, I'm dropping this.
Yeah. Well, okay. So Padme, she's like
she's a liberal.
She's a liberal. Yeah. What green quadrant would you say?
She's a British constitutional monarchist.
Okay. Let's move on to next. I think the same could probably be said about her buddy. Hold on.
I'm just waiting for like Obi-Wan and Anakin. Those ones are going to be the interesting ones.
We didn't do Anakin yet. But we did Obi-Wan.
Oh yeah, so Obi-Wan's religious Protestant.
Just a religious conservative. Yeah.
Okay. At least we agreed.
Yeah.
Trying to find a good picture of him.
Who's the next guy?
Bail Organa.
Oh, he is
He's a Republicanist. He wants to.
No, because he is the king of Onderon, though.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, he is. So he's
not Onderon. Alderaan.
Oh, Alderaan.
Alderon's the one from Knights. Alderon's the one from Knights of the Old Republic too.
So okay, Bail Organa. Is the.
It's basically discount. It's basically discount number Onderon.
Yeah. So he is the king of Alderaan. So I would say that he is a semi-constitutional monarchist. When it comes to his planetary politics,
senator too. No. I think his wife
yeah.
is the queen. He married into royalty. His wife is the queen, but he was the senator. But basically,
Okay.
yeah, he's like
well,
consort.
well,
Yeah.
well,
He's
so
also
when it comes to plant,
anti-authoritarian.
I think that he's anti-galactic authoritarian. Like, he doesn't like that on the galactic scale, but he doesn't mind like his semi-constitutional monarchy on Alderaan.
That's fair.
Also, Alderaan is like
terrorist.
typically pretty stable. Yeah, terrorist. He's an Islamist.
Do you say
Like-
Islamist? Oh,
No, those are the Yuzhong Vong. The Yuzhong Vong are the Islamists.
I'm joking. I mean, Luke Skywalker is kind of an Islamist when he blew up the Death Star.
yeah, you killed so many families. Couldn't have deactivated it.
So many stormtroopers unable to go home to their families.
Yeah. So yeah, he's basically. I'd say Bail Organa is probably just a bit to the right of Padme.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, Padme is more idealistic, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, now we'll go to. Let's see.
Okay, I'm actually curious about this Star Killer.
We'll do Starkiller next after
Alright.
we do our the man, the myth, the Lando.
Libertarian.
Libertarian. And he has the ANCAP colors. He's an ANCAP. Black and gold.
Total ANCAP, but he's not
It's
as
part
much
of
of
the
a.
LGBT
I
community.
go by. No, I go by Legends, where he's a good family man.
Hey, you can be a good family man with a gay husband.
No.
Does he have a husband?
He's a lady. He's the ladies'
Look,
man.
I feel like
no,
Lando
he has a
would
wife
swing
in
both
Legends.
ways, though. I feel
Lando
like if you have a good
swings both
time.
ways. He totally swings both ways. But he prefers women.
Yeah, definitely. He prefers
Yeah,
women.
I just go with Legends. I hated the Solo movie.
I never seen Solo.
You didn't like Solo? I liked Solo, personally. I might be
I'll be
Solo
honest,
on that.
I haven't watched a lot of recent Star Wars movies. like
Solo and Rogue
and,
One. Solo and Rogue One in Mandalorian are worth it.
Yeah, I've been mostly watching like the TV shows over like the movies because I knew.
Yeah,
like, the Disney
Mandalorian is
movies.
probably the best Star. The Mandalorian and Rogue One, I'd say, are the two best things to come out of Star Wars. But I did quite like Solo. It was a nice change. I liked the Western vibe.
Dude, my favorite thing that came out was the last 4 episodes of season 7 of the Clone Wars.
I still haven't seen it yet. I want
Dude,
to
that's
re-binge
amazing.
them.
Just watch the last 4 episodes.
Yeah,
or watch like
haven't
the
either.
first 3 episodes for like the Bad Batch. But it's like the last 4 episodes of like season 7 are great.
But okay, so Lando, we agree he's an ANCAP.
ANCAP, family man.
Yep.
He's a traditional family man. Maybe he would be a monarchist who cares about family, but just not a monarchist.
And I just wouldn't put him in the. I would not put him in the monarchist camp.
Wait, he is a political leader though, doesn't he? Run Cloud City
Because he bought the deed.
Yeah, he bought it, so he's an ANCAP.
Okay, so even more libertarian. I thought he was like ran the government.
Yeah, he was the administrator.
Because he bought it. He was the owner of it.
Okay,
somebody
where
wanted
is
to
this
talk about
weirdo
Starkiller?
going?
This guy is I'd probably say an incel that
He's kind of just like whoever he likes the most he would serve. Like I don't think he has like an underlying ideology.
Yeah, and he's a simp for
Juno.
his pilot, and yeah, that's about it when it comes to politics. He turned rebel for her, so yeah.
Basically.
So he's a simp, basically.
Yeah.
Political affection simp. But I'm going to say this. I do hope Starkiller and like Cal Kestis team up or something. Or it's just like he gets trained by I don't know. I just kind of want to see Cal Kestis meet like other Jedi or like guys like him.
Wait, is he the one from Jedi Fallen Order?
Yeah.
Okay. So next, you guys are gonna love this picture.
Okay. Revan.
He's a true
Keanu
centrist.
Reeves he's kind of everything at once.
Like I said,
at one
centrist.
point he'll be a crusader, but then he'll be a social revolutionary at the same time.
So so basically, okay, so I'd say he started as like
Excuse me, but is this like Keanu
Reeves?
Reeves?
He was off right during the Mandalorian Wars, off left when he was a Sith Lord.
So he was a neo. Okay, I'm gonna say this. I think he might be a neocon.
Yes, I think he basically is. He's a Kevin. He's like the Kevin Castley of you know Kevin Castley, Kamita?
Yeah, dude, I debated him.
What?
I debated him before.
Okay, you've been on his streams. I've been on his streams. Are you familiar with his rivalry with MMI?
MMI.
Machiavellian McCarthyist Imperial. Oh, it's the funniest shit ever. And like literally, MMI isn't even on the internet anymore because of Kevin.
Dude, I'm still saying though, this dude Revan's a full-on neocon centrist.
Centrist neocon. Kevin Castley, yeah. Hello, welcome to Superpower Broadcasting. I'm your host, Darth
Imagine
Revan.
if like Kevin Castley started to grow a beard like that though.
Dude, okay, no, yeah, I hope Kevin's watching, like, or at least I hope he watches the rerun because I know he watches the show. So,
dude, he waged like 6 wars, like Revan. He waged a war against the Mandalorians to save the galaxy. He waged a crusade against the Sith, basically, trying to find out the Sith and to destroy them. And then he tried to destroy the destroy the Jedi. Dude, he spent his whole life fighting.
Yeah.
Never met a war he didn't like. He's just like John McCain.
Yep. I'm good old George Bush.
Nah, Revan's too cool.
I mean,
to be George
that
Bush?
would be kind of a... No, it'd be too cool. Revan's too cool for George Bush.
Let's see. Let me think of who's next. What about Revan's waifu?
I'd say
also
Revan's
Revan's a religious fanatic too. Don't forget that. Religious fanatic.
Oh yes,
neocon.
he is a... I'd say she's just
She has some nice. Never mind.
I'm glad we both went in the same direction.
But yeah, Authright. Are you sure not?
Very traditionalist.
Definitely, she's definitely like
she's also very orthodox.
She's definitely like the girl that you develop a crush on at Catholic school. she's definitely like your your Catholic crush who's like okay, you can't.
I think she.
He's like, we have to wait. It's like you know what? I'm like very. I'm kind of repressed deep down inside, but like I'm very very pure, and I'm confused, but I'm pure. And
Revan and Bastila aren't traditionalists because they like had a marriage when that was like illegal.
And then she's like, "Fuck it, okay, I'll get married to you, even though I don't necessarily agree with you, but no contraceptives, okay?"
Okay, that's a lot to unwrap. One, us Catholics do produce some pretty nice looking women.
You guys do. No, I'm not gonna lie. You guys do.
The only thing I have down for her is
besides,
she's non-traditional because she goes against like the Jedi Order on a lot of stuff.
I mean, technically, the Jedi did allow marriage back then.
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
They did allow marriage back
Really?
then in the Old Republic era.
I
Yeah,
thought
they
that
did.
was just
It
super
was a
rare,
thing.
or like they were like an exception.
It was rare, but it still happened between Jedi. Like they would get married. It was just it needed like the council's blessing and all that. So it was
Wasn't
hard.
like most of the
It's
council
a
dead
plot
by
point.
that time, so it wasn't really that hard.
I mean, yeah, they effectively like became the council and was like, "Yep, well, we're gonna marry ourselves here." So yeah, I guess so. Like technically, they were following Jedi Orthodoxy
Wasn't she like
at the
the Grey
time by
Jedi, or
getting
am I
married.
thinking of a different character? Or
She wasn't a great
I
Jedi.
mean-
You're thinking of Jolie Bin. No, you're thinking of Kreia.
yeah, it might be because I
Kreia
remember
and
I
Jolie
thought she
Bindo.
was like she was cut off for the Force for a while, or like she wasn't a traditional.
No,
Jedi.
you're thinking of the no. You're thinking of the Jedi Exile.
Yeah, Jedi Exile. I think I was combining both of them for a second.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah.
Who else? Let's see.
Darth Nihilus.
Darth Nihilus is just.
He's
I don't
a
even think he's
nihilistic.
no, he's apolitical.
I mean, he says he doesn't care about the Jedi
No.
or the Sith, so it's just like he really is.
Yeah, he's a nihilist. That's all he is.
I
He's
care
a
not
nihilist.
for the Jedi or the Sith.
Does he say that?
I think so. He says something like, "When I
He doesn't
destroy the
talk.
Jedi, I will
He
then
talk. He
destroy the Sith."
gurgles. Remember, he gurgles. He's like, or some shit like that.
He speaks in the ancient Sith tongue.
Yeah. He uses like holocrons basically. He speaks through holocron language. What about
Yeah, he's like the Catholic Church where they speak Latin.
yeah, he believes in the Tridentine Mass. He believes he's pro Latin Mass.
Trad Catholic nihilist.
Yeah, no, he's like he watches Nick Fuentes on his spare time. Nick Fuentes is pretty cringe. I personally find him cringe. Darth Sion.
Masochist.
Anarcho-masochist.
Political ideology.
Anarcho-masochist. No? Okay.
He just likes pain. That's why I went to the. Well, that obviously.
Let's see who else. Oh, where's a good picture of him? Oh yeah, I don't know how good of a picture this is of him, but that's good enough.
He just left real quick.
Partho Nassi.
Wait, what game is he from?
The First Knights of the Old Republic.
Shoot, I don't know who he is.
No. Okay.
Also, the Darth Care. I don't remember the first letter of his name left.
Yeah, Darth Kilhoun. Did he say he had to go?
No, he just kind of popped out. I'm sure he had something busy, or or he lost his connection.
Okay, we'll wait a few more minutes, and if not, we'll just end it then.
All right, and let's go through a few other people.
We'll come back to Karth when Kilhoun comes back. Let's see. Who else? Who do we want to talk about? We'll wait for tomorrow to talk about Leia. But
I'm trying to think of a good one. Darth Tyrannus. It's Dooku.
We did Dooku already, I think.
Oh, shoot.
We agreed he was a paleo-libertarian.
I was also going to say elitist.
Yeah, paleo-libertarian, Hoppian, basically.
Darth Maul?
Darth Maul he just believes in discounts. Because he goes to he believes in discounts. Maybe some kind of libertarian. If he just wants low prices, Darth Maul, his ideology is
Darth
just
Kilhoon's back.
No. He just likes going to
Yes.
sales at the mall because everything is
Because they're half off.
Yeah. Okay, so Kilhoon, Carthonesi.
I
Authorite?
would say
Moderate, authorite.
yeah, authorite, but he's a patriot, like low level, like normie conservative patriot.
Normie Khan, he's a boomer Khan.
Normie Khan.
Yeah. Oh, I know. This is totally a libertarian, but we'll do next. Let's see. Where's a picture of him?
All right, I have the next one after we discuss this guy, or the guy you're about to show us.
What's at him? I'd say libertarian.
Yeah. I think that he is a libertarian on the surface, but deep down, he has the urge to be an authorite.
He's not. I'd say he's like a paleo lib.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say like he's in the closet authoritarian.
Well, he's a paleo libertarian. He's a Hoppian. Yeah. He's probably a Hoppian. Like I feel like he's edgy on the internet. And then but I do feel like he has like a porn addiction or something. Because he's kind of pervy.
He does simp for the exile.
He simps for the exile, and then he also is like he's spying on Mira too at different times, I remember. And then I remember Mira basically tells him like that she caught him in the back, she saw him in the back room jerking off. There's like this one scene in the cut content where she tells him that. But yeah, that was funny. So yeah, Atten, paleo libertarian. Do you want to agree paleo libertarian?
I would agree. Okay, I was gonna say Jango Fett, but you guys probably already did him.
We did not do Jango or Boba actually. So let's do the Fett. Yeah, let's do the Fets.
I feel like they're anarchists because they're like bounty hunters, or like they're part of a guild, so like voluntary groups.
No, I'd say for Jango Fett, like he is he uses anarchist like as his cover, but he is really secretly he's an authorite because he wants the recreation of the original Mandalorians. Because he was the leader of the true Mandalorian clan for a while. And then Boba Fett actually becomes a Mandalore for a short time in Old Legends continuity, and he is very based on no.
Oh yeah, he's also a family values guy.
Yeah, so no sex before marriage, guys. That is immoral. He's very based.
Do you want to say the one thing I don't like about Jango Fett though, or the Star Wars video game with him? They built up like him and Sam's relationship for him just to kind of kill her off like no problem in episode 2.
In the Bounty Hunter game?
Yeah.
I've never played it, so I wouldn't know.
They kind of like hint that they like each other at like in the final cutscene, and it's just like it feels weird knowing like he kills her like no problem.
True.
I mean, I bet that he had some heartache, but yet it was also like when you're messing with Jedi, you can't really let loose lips sink your ship.
Yeah, but it's just like I really wish they kind of kept it professional in a way. Or it's just like these two are only working together because it's just like, you know what I mean? Like it's like they're only doing this together because it's a job.
Understand.
Should we move on to Boba?
Either way, I think. Yeah.
But I feel like both of them
not Boba T. Boba Fett.
I feel like Boba Fett's like a less extreme Jango when it comes to like adhering to like the Mandalorian arts.
I don't know, because Boba Fett is he does become legitimate Mandalore of Mandalore, unlike his father. So, and he does lead a Mandalorian revitalization of their culture and a general revival.
He's like the second coming of Canderous Ordo, basically.
Yeah, essentially he is. And then a pretty base family man. So say he's very traditionalist on his views of marriage.
It sounds like he's a clone of his father.
Huh, yeah, I wonder how that came to be.
Except more bad. I've always preferred Boba to Jango personally.
Nah, well, I mean, like after the Mandalorian, I like Boba more, but it's just like I just like that that moment of like Jango versus like Obi-Wan, Iron Camino. I just really like that scene.
I like the music in that. It's like dun 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 dun. Yeah. Oh,
it's just
speaking
you
of which,
saw Jango do more in the movies than Boba.
That is true.
So I'm probably just biased for that reason.
Yeah, and then actually reading the books and comics and stuff, I would say that I like them equally because both of them have their moments in the old EU.
Okay, the only thing I remember Boba doing was playing a part in like Star Wars Force Awakens 2. Or Force Unleashed.
Yeah, but that's because you only played that game. You didn't read any of the Jedi Knight books. Yeah. Otherwise, you would think that Boba is actually like pretty fucking badass.
Oh yeah, I like the Mandalorian. Made me want to learn more about his character.
Okay, guys. So
Yeah.
I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna end. Oh, actually, so finish what you're saying. When we're done with that, we're gonna end here, and we're gonna watch one more cringy video and call it a night, and pick it up tomorrow evening.
All right, I was just gonna suggest one more character, but we could just do it tomorrow.
Oh, actually, yeah. What character do you want to do?
I was gonna say Jabba the Hutt.
No, let's say Jabba for tomorrow.
All right. I just knew that was could have been a good one.
Who do we want to cover? How about Ahsoka Tano?
We're gonna need to do like Leia and Ahsoka. Yeah. Han. Although I think we basically know he's a libertarian. Those guys. We'll do those tomorrow. But for now, we're gonna end with another. I'm sorry. We just need to do this. I am obsessed with this chump.
Is it Dave Rubin?
Yeah.
Is it Star Wars 2?
Yeah. He's gonna judge it. This is him in 2016 when he's still on the left, justifying why The Force Awakens I think is the best Star Wars movie in his opinion.
Oh my god. I liked Force Awakens, but
I liked Force Awakens. Look how goofy he looks.
Wait, is Dave Rubin gay or no?
Yeah, he's gay.
Okay, because that looked like a gay man's like introduction.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Right, so we did our first Q&A, Ask Dave, a couple weeks ago, and we got.
Do you think Disney paid him?
Questions.
Honestly,
I
wouldn't put it past them. Disney probably owns Dave Rubin. Like, I'm not even kidding. He probably gets money from Disney for something.
He probably gets money from some Disney subsidy or like own company.
Yeah.
Going to keep rolling with it. We're going to try to do them more often. So here we go. At Michael VGE said, I'd like you to justify why you think that the latest Star Wars is the, quote, best yet, as I disagree and rate it alongside Hunger Games in acting, and it just seemed like a remake of A New Hope, but the special effects and 3D were outstanding.
Dude, Michael VGE is based. Like, he got it completely right.
Mm-hmm.
His opinion is objectively, scientifically, empirically correct. But I did like The Force Awakens. But yeah.
Okay, so if you don't follow me on Twitter, which I cannot believe you don't.
You blocked me, Dave. I can't follow you on Twitter.
Do you want to tell you another problem with the sequels?
I refuse.
It was always a reaction to like the past movie, or it was always like Episode 7 and Episode 9 especially, where it's just like they said like, oh, we're not the prequels, we're doing like original trilogy stuff, or like we're doing a story similar to the original trilogy. The show We Still Got It. And Episode 9 is basically.
Okay, hold on, let's watch.
Might be the best Star Wars ever. Yeah, I'm talking about The Force Awakens. So Let me lay it out for you. When you factor in the amount of heavy lifting that this movie had to do, not only reboot a franchise, but also make people forget about the prequels, bring in all the old actors from the originals, as well as introduce a new cast, bring in new villains, bring in new good guys, make it feel like the old one so you felt good about the whole thing again, bring in the sense of humor and not have the dialogue be stiff like it was. And all of that stuff, when you bring all of that together on top of the overexposed media and all of that, I think the lift was so big here that when you factor everything in, I think you actually could say that this was the best one. That being said, if you remove some of the stuff that has nothing to do with the movie, the pressures of the actors and linking everything together 30 years later, if you remove that, I would still say that probably A New Hope, the original Star Wars, is the best. I know a lot of people.
I agree with Dave there. New Hope is my favorite. I think it's the best one.
People say Empire is the best. I would say probably New Hope, but I thought the movie was pretty great. They've set up so much good stuff. I don't want to give any spoilers in case anyone on Earth hasn't seen it, although I saw this morning that it displaced Avatar as the highest grossing movie of all time. But yeah, it was pretty damn awesome. There you go. All right. Sven asked, could you please give any advice on how to counter a very popular...
Okay.
That wasn't that controversial, or like that wasn't that kind of like annoying though. I mostly agreed with him.
Yeah,
it was
I don't
the most annoying I've seen from him. I just can't stand to look at his face while he says that stuff.
Dude, imagine if he said like Finn was like the Galactic Republic was the bad guys, or like
the Galactic Republic were the bad guys, and you see the Galactic Public, the Galactic Empire. No, the Galactic Republic were the regressives, and the rebels were the the Republic with the regressive left.
I feel bad because I was expecting this to be a 9-minute video.
No, it was just a Q&A. It was the first part. But I either way though, we'll pick this up tomorrow night. I think this is a good place to stop. Thank you everybody for joining in. This was a lot lower key tonight. We did not have as many viewers. It's fine though. Hopefully tomorrow will be a bigger night. Are you guys both planning on coming?
Oh yeah, I'm planning on coming.
Okay, Kilhoon.
What time is it going to start? Though?
Intending upon it.
It'll be 10:30 again. I have work
like Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
All right. Because the only time I would be busy is like 5 and 7, and this isn't a problem at all if it's 10 o'clock.
Okay. Hopefully, Kilhoon, you'll be able to come then. But either way,
theoretically,
I was gonna say an issue which might have like brought down viewers this day, but this is like finals week for a lot of college kids.
That's true, and a lot of the people in my audience generally tend to be that age.
Yeah, because today I just took like a science final, so like it's 10 o'clock, so I don't know, time zones and whatever. Maybe they were just busy and just like wanted to go to sleep early.
Yeah, that's what George wanted to do. He's been on the last 2 streams, but he didn't talk at all last night, so he left early. Either way, thank you everybody for watching, and we will see you tomorrow.
We also have the